The day that I started working at the Modern, I pretended I was the executive chef. That was a challenging road.
It's not boring. You're not doing the same thing every day. You're solving challenges. What you see on like a poster or an ad, we made in the kitchen and we walked it to set.
Hello.
This is diabolical.
Hey guys, welcome back to Campers. Today we have our first duo, which is very exciting, also slightly terrifying for me. We have Tom and Marybeth Allan, who are both within the Danny Meyer universe. Tom is the executive chef at the Modern, and Marybeth is the director of the creative studio at Shake Shack. The prompt for both of them was favorite childhood dish. She grew up in Maryland, so a crab boil does seem very on par, and he just apparently loves spicy chicken wings. I would say that boils don't have rigorous rules. I think depending on the area, it has specific type of seafood. Some don't have meat, some have potato, some have egg. I'm gonna give them a rinse. I mean, they are quite beautiful. It's just they kind of freak me out. The sauce here is literally hot sauce, butter, brown sugar. Frank's at Frank's. We're gonna eat Frank's at Frank's. So the potatoes and the meat went in first, and then the seafood goes in, because seafood really only takes anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes max. We're making the second butter sauce that is gonna go onto the boiled oil. So chicken wings are a slow and steady act. These are looking nice and dry, crispy almost. And then we're gonna douse them in the buttery hot sweet sauce. Well, it's hot, but absolutely delicious.
Where are those going?
In the boil.
What do you mean? You're putting eggs in that? According to who?
According to what I've read. Did I not put the eggs? You're making me second guess my choices in life.
I mean, I've never heard of a crab boil with a hard-boiled egg in it.
I have. I'll eat this egg.
I probably won't touch the boil with the egg.
I'm gonna put the eggs on the side, and I'm gonna ask her if she would like me to add eggs.
There's no eggs usually.
Okay, butter sauce is going into our boil. Yeah. This is a boil. You came to the boil. You're gonna eat the boil. It's actually very good. You know what would go well with that? An egg. Hello? Hey, Tom, are you guys here? Okay, I'm coming. Hey, guys!
Hey!
Oh, it is cold out.
So good to see you again.
Okay, I've made you a surprise.
Oh my God.
So we're having a boil and wings for breakfast.
Wow.
Amazing.
With some Bud Lights.
Have you ever had eggs with a boil?
Deviled eggs.
It's basically breakfast. Pick some of the messiest food to start the day with.
You know, it just feels right.
I appreciate it.
It's delicious, and I appreciate the Old Bay seasoning.
See?
Cheers.
I think that's the best
Where's
part.
the egg?
The egg worked in there.
Right.
You want to try the crab? I don't even know how to crack open a crab, I'll be honest.
Delicious. Not wrong. And they're cold. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. First off, thank you for being here. We have Tom and Marybeth Allan. Thank you for being on Campers.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for lunch.
You're welcome. How does it smell in the room?
It smells exactly like it should.
Like a seafood meets chicken wing.
Yeah, like you're in that wing house and somebody ordered seafood, which just happens occasionally, but not.
Surf and turf,
There you go.
right? First, when was the last time you guys spent the morning together or a whole day together with the types of jobs that you guys have that are very relatively demanding?
We spend every morning together,
It's
but
called-
they're
it's called-
fast and furious.
It's called
Fast
the
morning.
morning routine. It's been titled the morning routine.
What takes place and what's the time frame?
It's almost kind of like when you wake up, there's like red lights on the wall that are just blaring alarms like go, go, go. The clock's counting down.
Okay.
So we wake up in the morning. I'll be honest. I wake up probably last. She wakes up first, just
Okay.
to kickstart the day.
Or do you just need a little bit of peace and quiet to yourself in the morning?
No, it's necessary. There's a lot of things to be done,
captain.
and I know like it has to start at this point.
Okay.
We generally try to prep ourselves the night before because there's just so much to do. But there are definitely times where we put it off till we're just going to get it all done in the morning, and it never feels good going into that. But we know it, and we do have the routine. We have the checklist. So
Is it like a physical checklist or like a digital?
No, this one it's pretty routine. So we have a daughter. She's 8 years old. She's in the 3rd grade. So the checklist is, besides getting ourselves ready, which is kind of like the last thing we do, is ponytail, hair clip, lunch, walk dogs, feed dogs,
And you have dogs, plural.
dogs,
And a cat.
and cat,
And cat.
Yeah.
Wow, we're quite similar.
Pack the lunch, pack the water bottle, make sure the homework's in the backpack, make sure the lunch is in the backpack, socks and shoes, coats,
after school snacks.
after school snacks, food out for the dog walker if they're coming that day. If there's time for dishes, sometimes I get in trouble if I start doing dishes because it's not necessarily a big priority.
Okay.
But
It would be a big
I don't like
priority
having
for me.
dirty dishes out. So
Me neither.
It's a priority, but in the long list of things, like that, if that one thing has to give, that's the thing, because
Okay.
everything else has to like get us out the door.
And then 8 o'clock's the time. 8 o'clock.
You're out.
After that, we're losing time. So 8 o'clock, we're out the door.
Okay. How long have you guys been together?
We've been married for 14 years, coming up on the big 15.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And how long did you date before you got married? I'm just out of curiosity.
Year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we've known each other before dating because we worked together, which is where we met.
Where did you meet?
We met at a restaurant called 11 Madison Park.
Small.
Well, back in the day, it was figuratively, it was a
was
little.
it when Danny owned it or
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. We met in 2007 at 11 Madison Park. I started working there in January of 2007, and she started a couple months after. And we know amicable friends, and obviously I was like a young teenage line cook, just trying to figure everything out. And it wasn't until a couple years later that we actually started dating. And we
Still at 11 Madison though, or post?
So the story goes, I started as a line cook there, and I worked there for about 2 years, and then I left. I left to go to work at a different restaurant because you want to learn, you want to see new things. And after about a year working at that restaurant, I got a phone call from one of the sous chefs of 11 Madison Park named James Kent, and he was like, "How old are you going to be on January 2011?
How old are you gonna
How old am I going to be?" I'm like leaving my job, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm 21. And he's like, "I'm doing a competition called the Boku Store, and I need a commis or an assistant, and they have to be 21 years or younger by this date." And it was like January 26th. And I was like, "Well, I turned 21 on January 29th. And he's like,
You're the guy.
You're in. So I started going back to 11 Madison Park on my off time, AKA after lunch service.
And you
then,
were still working there.
Well, she was still working there. And then Daniel Hume, the chef, after like a couple of months me being back, he was like, "Hey, I've got a position open as a sous chef. Would you come back?"
Wow.
And I was like,
You were at 21 at that point?
well, I was 20 at that time.
20,
Yeah.
right.
And, how can, like, you just, that's your reaction, right? How can you say no?
Yeah.
So I wasn't planning on leaving the restaurant where I was because it was a 3-star restaurant. But as an opportunity to be a young sous chef, and I was already competing, I was always training with James, it was like a no-brainer.
Totally.
So I came back and I started working back at 11 Madison Park. And there was one day where I was like in the dry storage and I was like cleaning up and like organizing. And then she walks in and she's like, "Hey,
I recognize you.
I'm glad you're back." Quote, end quote, right?
What was your position at 11 Madison?
I started as a food runner. So I had worked in restaurants for a very long time before moving to New York and kind of just thought I knew it all. I was a restaurant manager and was like, I can do this, like no problem. And moved here and had my first trail at 11 Madison Park and was very humbled. And
Just by the trail.
just was like, okay, there's a lot to learn here. I mean, there were dishes and food that I'd never seen or never pronounced or steps of service that I was just like, okay, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot, like, this is really exciting. You know, this isn't just what I know. So you started as a food runner, and I worked there for 4 years and worked my way up to being a captain on the floor and running. You're just in charge of your section.
Okay.
So you're the face of the table, and you really own the relationship with the guest. But you're running behind the scenes a team of 4, like a sommelier and an assistant server and the person who pours water, and just like, you know, in a place where there's 12 to 14 courses with or without wine pairings, there's a lot to coordinate and just kind of like have your eyes on everybody in the team to make sure that it's all happening.
Yeah.
Which is totally different than just like working in a restaurant in Delaware.
Just ever so slightly.
Yeah. So it was, I really enjoyed it because it was a new challenge with something that I already knew, but was a lot to learn. It was just an exciting place to be while I was like putting myself through college. And when we met, we both were like in relationships, but friends.
Okay. This was first round.
First round.
Okay.
Yeah. First time EMP.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we were friends. I mean, you know, you go out after work, you work long hours, you're like in it together. And at that time, it was, you know, new chef, Daniel Hume, and working towards those 4 New York Star time. Sorry, 4
stars New York Times.
4 stars New York Times and
It's a
3
tongue
Michelin
twister.
stars.
Which was all that mattered, because
Yeah.
like this is like the Michelin Guide had just come out. It was relatively new. I'm sure that chef wanted Michelin stars. We didn't get any for like the first 5-6 years. So like the New York Times 4-star rating was like everything. We talk about it every day at lineup.
I mean, we were actively working towards those things. It wasn't just like, oh, let's see what happens. Like, it was every day we knew what we were working towards, and it was an intense environment.
But every
to be
day
in.
also matters. Like every single day is a different Broadway show.
Yeah.
And you couldn't have a
essentially.
bad night.
No.
You couldn't have a bad night, you know?
I mean, we have lineup or like pre-meal or service like before, you know, everything starts, and it's like rapid fire. Like, talk about wine pairings, talk about the dishes, like describe what's going on the menu. And if you couldn't answer those questions, like, you would go home.
You're getting kicked out.
It's like, you don't belong on this floor. Like, you can't pour water.
I'm uncomfortable.
Really,
with
really
It would
intense
take like
environment.
6 months to learn how to pour water.
So you
Wow.
became friends with like the people, and we all
you're in it
held each
together.
other to like a really high standard, and it was like you took it seriously, but you became friends, and you formed like some of the best relationships that I have are from that restaurant. And you know, we were in relationships, so we were just friends. But then when he went off to work at a different restaurant and came back, at that point in time, neither of us was in a relationship. So it just kind of like
all
panned
about
out
timing. All about timing. Just out of curiosity, you said you were the captain of a section. How many sections were there, and how many captains were there to make this well-oiled machine run?
I don't remember at this point in time, because we used to have a whole section that turned into a service station. So I want to say like 4 to 5. I think it ended up being like 4 after we eliminated.
So the captain is like the person who's in like, you know, wearing the suit at
Yeah.
your table, greets you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in charge of your table tonight. The server, like the lead, the person of the team. Because every single section of this, there's a floor map, by the way, just so you know. There's also traffic patterns. Like, you're not allowed to walk
I noticed
right.
actually
Like
at
a Broadway,
all. So
it's literally a show
It's
where
a
like you
show,
can't
yeah.
leave the theater unless there's
I haven't worked in restaurants in a while. Like,
Okay.
I've shifted my career, and also a big part of that was because we had a child, and we can't both just like work in the evenings. You know, someone has to like watch the child. But we went to 11 Madison Park for our recent wedding anniversary in November, and it all was just like flooding back
in a
I
good
was
way
like,
or a not so good.
no, a good way. Like, I was just like, oh, I remember, like he's saying like traffic patterns. Like, when you enter the section, you can only go a certain way and leave a certain way, because there's just so many touch points and so many things happening that people could like run into each other. Like, you're clearing a table and someone's trying, it can get a little like chaotic, but it's like beautiful and elegant, because
dance.
everyone knows that like, this is how you enter, this is how
Until
you
she's
exit.
like on the floor intersection and somebody walks in dropping food at one of her tables, and it's the wrong food, and she's like staring them down across the floor, like, "Where are you going?
It
Where are you
brought
going?
back some of
Where are you
those
going?"
memories as well.
A restaurant brings that
It's her
back.
table. Here comes like this line cook with a couple of snacks. Like, that's not where they've already had dessert. Don't drop that.
After 11, did you go into another restaurant, or was that enough for you?
After 11 Madison Park, we actually got married and moved to Paris.
Okay.
So it was a little bit of a shift.
Slight.
I thought about this, and I wasn't sure if this would come up, but I wanted to like think about what actually sparked moving to Paris. So that's a huge thing. So I'm a British Canadian. So at the time, I didn't need a visa to work in Europe because England was part of the EU. So I had this ability to go work wherever I wanted in the European Union,
Pretty sick.
which is pretty sweet, right? And I didn't want to waste the opportunity. But that's not the reason that pushed us to Paris. So one day before we were even married, she was like, "I want to go travel. I want to go abroad." And
live, not just
and
bounce
live,
around. You
yeah.
want to kind
she
of
was
plant.
I want to go to South Korea and teach English. And I was like, shit, I better lock this down. Like, not kind of, but I was
kind
like,
of.
I also want to travel. I don't want to go to South Korea. What about if we go to Paris? And,
Different,
but still cool.
Very.
And, with a couple of connections that I made working at 11 Madison Park, I landed a job. And, I was like, do you want to go to Paris with me?
And I did. Yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, let's do that instead.
I have
It's like big
so many
pivot.
questions about Paris.
But I just wanted to I was finishing school. I just had the itch to just get out and go abroad. And, we organically, that opportunity came up. So we moved to Paris.
How long were you guys there?
2 years.
Yeah, just under 2 years.
It's a great amount of time.
Yeah.
To still love the French.
Oh, our heart's there for sure.
Could you see yourself even later in life going back and living?
I think so.
Yeah. Or maybe not even later in
100%.
life.
No,
Just
I'm daydreaming all the time.
Really?
Yeah, it's just we went back he's been back a couple times for work and different events and stuff, but I went back the first time last year in 10 years.
Oh wow.
It had been 10 years, and I'm like, I need to go back to
Does
Paris.
it feel very different?
It's the exact same.
No,
that
it
same?
doesn't. Yeah.
It's like eerie. I went a couple of months before we went together, and I got off at the train stop that I'd always get off from, my hotel, and I'm like, I'm just gonna walk back to our apartment. And I was like, I know the way. And I just did it just because I wanted to. And everything that was there is still there. It's like eerie. A couple of new grocery stores here and there, but
restaurants, grocery stores,
yeah.
or flips at least.
Not as much as New York. Like things in New York change over
A night.
seriously. In Paris, it's not that mentality, nobody's trying to be the next billionaire.
No.
This guy's going to run his boulangerie until he wants to retire.
It's a different way of life, and we went back. I mean, he has a ton of memories for himself, but we went back to the restaurant that I worked in and met a colleague that I worked with. I hadn't seen him in 10 years, and we had lunch together at the restaurant that we worked together.
He was still working there?
No,
he's
Okay.
no, but it's still there, and it's still very much in the family, and it's still very much the same. Nothing's changed. I was like, this is the same restaurant as I left.
Where did you guys live in Paris?
In the 6th in Saint Germain. Yeah,
I mean,
it's a little posh, but so it's not as posh as it sounds.
but it's so central.
It's
you're
very
kind of
central.
around
On the
everything.
left bank, super close. We didn't know how to get an apartment there. This is 2011. So I just looked up long-term vacation rentals, and I found this
Months at a time.
old French guy whose daughter managed the property, who lived in London, so nobody was ever there. And it was like 1,200 euros a month for this tiny little studio with a little loft where you sleep and you can look out the window and see a bunch of cool stuff. Couldn't see the Eiffel Tower, so it wasn't like a movie.
Okay.
But
You
it was
could walk to it.
Yeah,
We
and
walked everywhere. I mean, I rode my bike past the Louvre every day.
to
go to work.
I brought
It was
my
such
bike from
A lovely
New York.
commute.
She used the Velib, which is the bike things, which is the original city bike. I brought my bike from New York. I don't know why, but that was my commuting. It's
a bold move.
It was a bold move. I packed it in a box along with
a lot of
pillows and
responsibility.
blankets. I don't know what weird.
Our
fuck
move
we
there
did.
was pretty insane, but
Just brought your house to Paris.
as much as we could have. Yeah.
Okay. you were there for 2 years. What made you then come back? Like, could you have stayed longer, or was New York then pulling you back?
It's pretty loaded. I mean,
A loaded question.
I don't know. So what sparked the conversation was the chef who I was working for. His name is Yannick Alino. At the time, he was the chef of a hotel called Le Maurice. It was a 3 Michelin star restaurant inside the hotel. And I had gotten that cookbook when I was 19 years old. A couple months after I started at EMP, I pretty much cashed my whole paycheck to buy that book at Kitchen Arts and Letters in the Upper East Side.
It's a great store.
And when it was time for me to, like, when I was like, when I told you I wanted to go to Paris, that was the reason why I wanted to go. I wanted to work for him in that restaurant because of the book that I bought, that I still have, that I've lent to countless chefs, coworkers, friends. He could have been on Long Island. I would have wanted to go there. Luckily, he was in Paris.
It's nicer than Long Island.
Like just past the Louvre in the first arrondissement. So I wanted to work for him. So it wasn't like, let's put a time on our stay here and let's go back after a certain amount of time. He decided to leave the restaurant. He had his own restaurant group, and it was growing and growing and growing. And he was like, my time at the Maurice is over. And he invited us to his house, and like all the sous chefs, because I became a sous chef, all the management, and he would sat us all down at a table like this and was like, wow, I'm leaving the Maurice. And then he started offering all of us individual jobs.
Oh, wow.
To work in his other restaurants that were all over the world. The job that he offered me was running as like an executive sous chef level in Marrakesh. And I was like, I don't think that's not my next spot.
Cool place,
super cool. Yeah. Not my next move as a 23-year-old. So then I came home and I was like, hey, Yannick's out. He's leaving the Maurice. Like, let's analyze if this is, where we want to be after that. And I think Elaine Ducasse ended up taking over the space. And I was like, I think it's our time to go. And I honestly, she got a job. She was working in a French wine bar. Because of our status.
Lovely. It was.
Oh, it was funny.
The simple things in life is really just.
It was owned by a British guy who was a master at skirting the French tax laws. So he wouldn't hire anybody French. He only hired internationals to I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so all our friends are not French. They're all from all over the world, but are fluent in French. But while she was doing that, she got a job working at the European Independent Film Festival.
Oh, wow.
Run by an Australian guy.
Mm-hmm. What made you pivot into that? Because that's very different than food and wine bar.
My experience in Paris was very much American in the sense that when I first got there, I couldn't work legally and I had to wait for our papers to go through. So I had always had dogs growing up and was like, I could walk dogs. Like, I could do that. I can't just sit still. Like, I can't just, I got to do something. And,
totally.
So I put out an ad in Craigslist and I became a dog walker. And honestly, it was an amazing experience because I got to know the neighborhoods and be outside in parks all day and just
some of the most beautiful parks also.
It was pretty chill, and I was working for people who, their dogs were they were high level executives and were like, please just spend time with my dog in a park. And I'm like, okay, great, I'll do that.
Kind of the best.
Yeah, no, I was like, this is actually working out pretty well. But then from there, my papers finally, and then I got a job at the wine bar. My papers went through, and then I volunteered at a film festival, and then that turned into a job at a international media company. So I was working 3 to 4 jobs at some point, and my French friends would be like, "What? You're so American. What are you doing? Just work one job." And I'm like, still. I don't know what I'm doing, but it just provided such a great experience and all these different touch points. But the film festival was just great exposure to work with all these different international creators and just celebrate their work in Paris, which was really cool. And then that turned into a position at the company that he owned. So that's when I really started to apply what I went to school for photography and film school and whatnot. So just, when he was ready to come back and
that's at that point we looked at each other and we're like, it's pretty much 2 years. We didn't think we were going to accomplish half of what we've already done. You know, like I didn't go there to be a sous chef or a manager. I just wanted to cook.
Yeah.
You know,
And the experience.
and the
To
experience.
work for that chef.
And here I am, like managing brunch on Christmas Day at the hotel. Like this is crazy.
And getting offered a job in Marrakesh.
And then get out. Yeah, I'm like, what is happening? So we were like, you know, it wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy call by any means. But we were like, we can't call this a failure by any means.
Absolutely not.
So,
far from.
Yeah, my family's kind of all over the world. Her family lives in Maryland, the DC area. Living by yourself as a young couple in a different country is pretty hard. You know, like you just don't see people.
Well,
At
let's
one
see
point,
that
we were applying for our work papers, for her work papers, and the bureaucracy in France, like the people who work in like the government buildings, like they don't give you they don't give you an inch of like charity. They give you nothing. You know, we waited 3 hours one time to see somebody. We hit 1 o'clock and they're like, I'm on lunch break. So we finally see somebody, and
French.
I was trying to tell them that I have a bank account, like, you know, because they ask you, do you have a bank account? And instead of saying I have a bank account, I said I'm a bank in French.
And they said next.
And they're like, and I was like, I'm just trying my hardest to just
I am a bank.
do things the right way.
Listen, the
I'm
French,
not a bank.
you love, it's a love-hate. I happen to love French.
a lot of love. It's a lot
It's
of
so
love.
much love.
It's so much
but
love.
it has gotten softer, but I think still to this day, even when I try to converse, I'll attempt French and you always get English back. And I'm like, okay. But I want to come back to New York. Once you have arrived back, how soon did you start at Shake Shack?
There was a bit of time in between that.
Okay.
When we first got back, I was kind of just like, you know, getting my footing and looking for the next opportunity. And
Sure.
actually, my first job back was at the Elm.
The Elm.
Which is a restaurant.
I helped open the Elm. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it was in Williamsburg, and Paul Liebrandt was the chef.
Okay.
So he was opening a restaurant in Williamsburg, and we had just moved back to Williamsburg with a friend, like literally just got back. And I'm like, okay, this restaurant's opening, and went for like an open call and was hired to help open it as like front of house. So got right back into restaurants. But then
Once
on
you're in
the
hospitality, it's an addiction.
But then on the side was like, okay, let me like, you know, I have this experience now in Paris with like film festival and media company, and like got my, you know, started to like use what I went to school for, but just needed to like start working. So actually found a job through a video production company that was hired to film you guys doing, I'm trying to recall the whole,
So to
the Beaucru
backtrack,
story.
yeah, so backtrack on the competition
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier. What it is it's a biannual competition in Lyon in France.
Great area.
Where like 24 country teams go to compete against each other for, and we were Team USA in the year 2011. Which was a big deal because it's like a lot of sponsorships. That's a lot of money. You can't just get there without a lot of support. And somebody followed us for about a year and a half leading up to the competition, and made a little mini documentary that aired on like PBS or something like that. I don't know. It's called The American Chef. And so for like a year and a
It's out
half.
there.
I'm going to watch
Think
it.
You should watch it.
Is it on Netflix?
No, it just, I think you can get it on Hulu now.
Okay.
They
Even
basically
easier.
they compress it down to 2 episodes. It's like a hour and a half. So it's me and James. You know, we go to California to train, and we go to Switzerland to see the European competition. Then we finally go to Lyon to compete. We got 10th out of 24. So we didn't win, obviously, but sorry, spoiler alert.
So I'll
And
still watch.
there's so many awkward, heated moments where, like, you know, because I'm like,
Awkward is the best.
yeah, it's like when the camera's right behind you.
You're so young too. Like looking back and watching that, I'm like, he's like a baby. It's like, I don't know, like 18. Like
No, I was 20. I was 20.
You 18. You look 18, but it's just like a whole different. I don't know. I love pulling that video up every once in a while.
There's a
We're
great
gonna find
moment.
a clip of it and put
Yeah,
it
there's
in.
a great moment where like me and James are fighting, like, because he's like just like leaning into the camera and like talking about like everything. And I'm like, dude, we have to like practice. We're cooking in like for these people in a couple of weeks.
Jesus.
So we like leave this little house and walk out onto the street, and the guy behind the camera was amazing. He stopped as the screen door closed, and they cut the sound out so you couldn't hear what we were saying, but we were obviously arguing. And they were just filming us like 20 feet away arguing.
It's reality TV.
Pretty awesome. Sweet.
The kitchen.
Amazing instincts kicked in. Anyway, I became friends with like the people who ran that production company, and gave her the contact. And so she gave him a call and landed a gig in New York in a media company.
Incredible.
Yeah, so I started working there while I was working at the Elm. I just did both.
You like to double.
I don't know.
You like to stack them up.
I don't know why, but here we are. And then eventually that opportunity did turn into like a full-time position. I went full into
Media.
Okay. Yeah.
Which entered
Finally made the
you
switch.
into the Shake Shack world.
What actually led me into Shake Shack was, okay, so fast forward, I worked at this production company. It was called Ventana Productions,
Okay.
and I did that for a bit. But then I ended up getting a job at a place called Fly on the Wall Productions, which is in Dumbo, and documentaries and all different types of really cool work that it exposed me to. But then we were having a kid, so I was pregnant with Margot and ended up going on maternity leave. And it's maternity leave's quick in this country. Like you go back after 3 months.
2 days.
And I wasn't quite ready to go back. I was like, let's just pause and like figure out my next move here. And so I was really fortunate to stay home with her for 7 months, and was like, I want to see like what I want to do next here. And honestly, the journey was like, I want to merge my background of hospitality and restaurants and food and everything I know and love, but also merge it with like this new emerging path that I've been working so hard for. And the job was posted for Shake Shack, and was like, this is it. Like, this is perfect. Like, I'm ready to go back to work.
Were you a fan before you?
I was a huge fan of Shake Shack. I
You
mean,
guys
going
have the
back to
best
like,
chicken sandwich one can purchase right now.
So you may or may not know, but Shake Shack, obviously, the original Shake Shack was in Madison Square Park.
It was a cart.
Well, like,
the
if
first
you want to
Shack.
go, the first Shack was a hot dog cart.
Yeah.
When they
Okay.
built the actual restaurant, it was in MSP, but they used to prep the food at the 11 Madison Park private dining kitchen.
yeah.
Wow.
Their
When
offices,
I was working there.
up until the 2011, were inside the offices of EMP. So like, you'd walk into work and be like, hey,
That's probably why it's so good.
you'd see people from Shake Shack inside EMP's offices. They had a chest freezer in the hallway that I used to, where they would hold their French fries, and I would like bang on the glass and like, hey, I need to take some French fries for staff meal. I'm in the shit, so go fry some French fries for staff meal. So EMP and Shake Shack were like so connected.
Wow.
If you worked a double, or like in the days of brunch, or doubles for servers and captains, like you work these monster shifts, they'd give you some petty cash to go out there and you'd knock on the back door of Shake Shack and get a burger for lunch. It was like it was so integrated. It was amazing.
Yeah, I knew Shake Shack forever. Like he said, working at EMP, you work a double. You work from 10 a.m. to midnight. Yeah. And, my reprieve would be to exit during like the time that you could sit down and get something to eat. And I would just go sit in Madison Square Park. And we had things called like Danny dollars, which was part of a perk because it used to be like connected.
You can use them in any.
Yeah, so I would use my like
Establishment?
Danny dollars, and I'd go get Shake Shack, and I'd sit in Madison Square Park and just be surrounded by this gorgeous park in New York City and eat a burger and then get back to work. And like, so yeah, I had like my roots there, and was like, as soon as I saw that job posted, I was like, I have to get this job.
is it.
Like, I'm going for this. But
So you have been with Shake Shack for almost 10 years. You're at the 8-year mark.
I'm at the 8-year mark actually on his birthday coming up. End of January will be 8
End of
years.
January.
Yeah, January 29th.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of a crazy, I still remember it to this day because we were moving. It was his birthday. I was starting a new job, and our daughter was starting daycare all on the same day.
Nope.
And it was freezing cold outside.
So I'll never forget that.
That's about 3 things too many.
Yeah, it was like a lot of
Specifically
big
the
life events
daycare.
like happening all in one. But we made it happen, and it's been such an awesome journey, honestly, from 8 years ago to today. So
Can you remember walking in, say, the first day or even within the first week, and what's something that you noticed then that's still in play today?
Well, I remember, if I can interject here, she walked in and she was like, they use their iPhone to take photos of the food.
For like the
For
content?
for the content, for like, everything you see in the shack.
Oh, wow.
Well,
we had a big opportunity for, I was the first position hired like for production. So
Okay.
it was so exciting because I had, just enough couple of years experience in these different production companies and came in and was like, wow, there's like so much opportunity here to like build and really define like how we want to do this moving forward. It was so scrappy when I joined, and honestly to this day we still have a little bit of scrappiness to us.
Scrap is good.
But like walking into our home offices and like headquarters then, I mean, the one thing that is constant from day one is growth and scaling. And I remember like I started and I got like a corner of a desk. It was like, here's a chair, like we're gonna move soon, we'll make space. And after me they were just popping up like tables and chairs because there were no desks left. It was just like adding people where you can't fit anyone. It was kind of crazy. And then we moved to our headquarters, and from then it's just been, growth and how do we want to build the systems to support where we want to be. And it's actually that's why I've stayed, is because it's no day, like it's not boring. You're not doing the same thing every day. You're solving challenges and asking, how are we going to do this tomorrow? And really been given like an opportunity to build that from scratch, which has been like the most exciting part of it, because you can enter places and everything is just kind of already built, or like this is how we do it. And there's really just been a runway to figure it out with the team, and that's like been the most exciting part of it.
How do you keep the kind of like raw, almost scrappy creativity that you're bringing to the team in now what I'm assuming is a more corporate feel, since just the scale of what Shake Shack is?
For sure. I mean, I think that again, the constant is change. Like that's going to continue to change. Like what we were doing 8 years ago for 30 shacks, we're now doing for 400 shacks. In the next couple of years, we'll be doing for 1,500 shacks. So like things are going to change with that. But I think, the one creative constant is to really just like keep it simple and keep it real. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that like I'm most proud of, and what we've kept intact for all these years, is what you see on like a poster or an ad or a billboard or in a video or like whatever it may be, like we made in the kitchen and we walked it to set and we put it on there, and we like
it's not
played with the camera angle.
It's not fake food.
It's
real
we don't
food.
have these tricks up our sleeve. We're not putting anything out there that we're not proud of. Like from the day I started to now is like, what is a guest going to get in a shack? And like it's
happiness.
It can be that simple, and because it's such a great product, and because it stands on its own, like we don't have to have all these tricks up our sleeve to like make it something it's not. So honestly, it's been like the easiest part of the job is just like presenting in front of camera like what we actually serve to a guest.
You could taste it.
It's nostalgia for me. I mean, like, we have a huge connection to both brands.
Sure.
And obviously I still work for Danny Meyer. So everything is still very much connected. All the dots are connected. But, I can like think of a Shack burger that I had when we first met, and it's the same as it is now. You can't
just perfect.
You can't do that for a lot of brands these days, because everything changes and evolves and shrinks and gets smaller. It's like, how do you capture that feeling still to this day? It's pretty.
I mean, what you're doing is wildly impressive, because it's a global brand that you're making from the ads, from the experience in the place, feel like home. It's such a, not nostalgic, but just like comforting on such a grand level.
I mean, I think that's like the specialness of it. You know, I think
Special
everybody
sauce.
has like a story, right? Of like their first time having Shake Shack or when they like to have it or just like a treat yourself moment. And I had it. Like it's like me thinking about when I used to work 12, 14-hour shifts and just having a moment in the park and like having a burger. And even to now, this day, like it's a treat for us to go. Like Margot loves Shake Shack. Like she's like, if
It's
we
really
can
the
give her
only
an
fast food.
option.
I mean, would we consider it fast food? Because it is real food.
It's real food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's high quality real
High
food.
quality.
Yeah.
there's a different feeling than like I don't know, going through a drive-through or just stopping by a fast food restaurant and eating because you're hungry than going to I don't know, going to Shake Shack. It's more of just like a treat yourself, like
Yeah.
this feels good moment versus like I'm hungry and I'm just gonna eat something.
Mhm.
I think there's always just like a specialness to that, and I think everyone I talk to kind of has like some story about why they go or their first time or just like a memory of it.
I remember my first time. I don't think I really understood what Shake Shack was, and it was a stumble into. Couldn't recall where I was, but had the chicken sandwich, and I was very confused with what was happening because I'm like, is this fast food or I just don't understand what fast food is anymore because it was that juicy. It had just come off the grill. Like it was an unbelievable sandwich, and I have never changed my order since.
One day we were both working there at 11 Madison Park. You know, Will Guidera was the general manager at the time, and we would, you know, there was so much about the guest experience and about, you know, making legends, as we would say. You know, a family came in to 11 Madison Park, and it was their last night visiting New York. And you know, as a captain's job, they gathered information, and they said, "We've done so many things in the city. We've seen so many shows. We've had so many restaurants, but we're leaving tomorrow morning, and we just couldn't make it to Shake Shack." So, in the middle of dinner service, we went to Shake Shack
Stop.
and got them a Shack burger, put it on a plate, a Bernardo French porcelain plate, put a cloche over it, and as their last course, dropped it on the table. And
Oh
it
my
like
gosh.
melted their brain, and it was like, what a
I
moment!
melted. How happy were they?
And like those moments, like they're so special, you know.
That's amazing. That's so amazing.
Yeah. So Shake Shack, 11 Madison Park, USHG. There's so many threads of this web we've built, and you know, it's really special to us.
Hmm. And now you're at the Modern,
Mhm.
executive chef, which is a huge title. And the Modern has just hit their 20-year anniversary.
The Modern turned 20 this year.
That's a big kid.
Pretty incredible. Next week for me will be my 12th year anniversary at the Modern.
Oh my gosh.
So I've been there for more than half of that 20 years. The Modern for me is just like, it's such a big part of my life. You know, it's my identity at this point. And you know, because of, you know, when you spend so much time in a place like that, you get, obviously you attach yourself to it emotionally and physically, and all the time I spent there, and all the moments we've had, all the successes, the failures, you know, all the challenges, all the different chapters the restaurant itself has gone through. You know, like there's no way you can walk into that restaurant right now and say, this has been the same restaurant for 20 years.
Sure.
It's a novel at this point, you know.
Wow.
At one point we renovated the kitchen, we gutted the whole thing, and at one point we had a disaster with a pipe breaking in the dining room where the whole thing flooded.
Mid-service?
Mid-service on a Sunday, FDNY coming in there with axes and chopping credenzas down and evacuating guests. We've been snowed in with blizzards. We've had so many crazy things have happened in that restaurant. It's wild. COVID.
Oh yeah. What did the Modern do for COVID? Did you guys stay open?
We were the first one to close.
You're the first one.
In New York City. I can hand on my heart say that, because we had a large event in our PDR for, you know, the MTA, and it was actually a big charity event. It was a breakfast, and then I think somebody from the MTA's, maybe his wife, said, "Hey, I have COVID now," and we were like, "Shit, close down, clean everything up," you know. And after that, we were like, "This can't go on." So Danny was like, "We're gonna close all our restaurants." So the Modern was kind of the first domino to fall in that, you know. But for me, the Modern has been like a dream. You know, it is a dream job.
Yeah.
And it was a dream job before I even worked there.
When you first entered 12 years ago, what was your position?
So I started as the chef de cuisine.
Okay.
the Modern, if you don't know what it is, it's essentially 3 restaurants in one, or it's 2, but with a private space.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, a lot of people are still kind of confused by it when you walk in. Like, I'm here for my reservation for 6 o'clock, and they're like, "Are you here for the bar room or the dining room?" And they go, "I don't know."
Help.
Yeah. So hopefully, as the years go on, we can separate that identity. I wanted to work at the Modern before I did, many years before I did, actually. We talked about James Kent, and I'll reference him a lot because he was a big part of my life. You know, if I can say anybody was a mentor in my career, it was definitely James. We were sitting at Thomas Keller's dad's house where we trained in California for the Boku store. Same house where we had the argument. And kind of corny, we're sitting on the porch and we're just like, you know, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be the chef? Where do you want to open your own restaurant? We're just kind of like dreaming. And for whatever reason, I said, I want to be the chef of the Modern. And this was 4 years before I worked there.
What made you have that desire?
I don't know. I you know, like when I started at 11 Madison Park.
I really believe in you say something and it happens because
well, 2
of which you've manifested pretty strong.
I walked into 11 Madison Park. I literally walked in to get a job there, not knowing what it was. I didn't have any internet in my little apartment in Sunnyside, Queens, so I would bring my MacBook and sit at the foyer of the Apple store on 59th Street to use their Wi-Fi. And I would look at Craigslist, and I was working at a restaurant already, and it said 11 Madison Park is looking for line cooks, and that's how I got my job at EMP. I walked in a couple hours later. So after that, I started to learn, you know, what did I just get myself into? You know, I started to learn who Danny Meyer was, what USHG is. The restaurant itself is a portfolio. It's more than just 11 Madison Park. There's Gramercy Tavern, Union Square Cafe, and the Modern. So I started to just, like, you know, you're curious. The curiosity is a real thing, and I, with my Danny dollars, got the opportunities to, like, go dine in the bar room, you know, because I couldn't afford it without it. Yeah. And I just fell in love with that restaurant before I even had a job there. The chef at the time, his name is Gabriel Kreuther. He's an Alsatian chef. He still has a restaurant in New York City, 2 Michelin stars, big part of my life, amazing guy. And I've always just been drawn to the restaurant. We got one of our first real dates there on table 92, you know, save up the money and spring for a fancy date. And I've always thought that the restaurant itself could, because of its association with the museum, mm-hmm. and the fact that it's inside of a modern art museum and just where it is in New York City, you put your finger in the middle of Manhattan, that's where it is. Like, it has like the opportunity to be whatever it wants to be. So I've always kind of subconsciously felt like that restaurant could be anything, could be the best in the world. And then when, you know, throughout our time, 11 Madison Park, went to France, came back from France, I helped a friend open a restaurant in Midtown. Like, the news sprung was like, Gabriel Kreuther is leaving the Modern. So we were going to dinner that night. We went to the Nomad Hotel. The chef of the restaurant, his name was Abram Bissell, who was a line cook at the Modern, big friend of ours, worked together at EMP.
So you were an arm's distance away from...
We were sitting at the Nomad having dinner, and we were the last ones there. Abram came out. We're drinking whiskey. The lights are on. You know,
You were camping.
We were camping, but he's a really good friend. And he's just, you know, we hadn't seen each other for years. And the news dropped that Gabriel was leaving the Modern. And I said, dude, that should be your job. Go do that job. And he said, Danny's already called me about it.
Oh.
And I'm like, so go. Which was a big deal because you're leaving the Nomad. You're leaving the 11 Madison Park group, where he spent years to work. And he's like, they already called me. And I'm like, go do it. And he goes, do it with me. And I'm like, let's go. And that was the start of my time at the Modern. So I started as the chef de cuisine, the number 2 to Abram, who was the executive chef. Mm-hmm. And that was January of 2014.
Okay. When you became the executive chef, talk to me about that title, because you run the show. Mm-hmm. You have all the calls and shots on the menu. Mm-hmm. Did you change anything drastically, or did you kind of ease your way into your own groove?
The day that I started working at the Modern, I pretended I was the executive chef.
Again with the manifesting. You really painted the picture that you wanted.
I need some Bud Light for this conversation. Because that was a that was a challenging road.
Okay.
You know, this is, like I said, this is my dream job. And I wanted him to succeed, and I wanted to support him, and I wanted to learn how to be a leader and a manager. And I made mistakes along the way. But after a while, I was like, you know, like, this is what I want. And you can't be like, hey, you should quit.
I mean, you could. I feel like if you thought it would probably happen the next day.
I wanted it so bad for so long. After a while, I was like, it's just not going to happen, you know, like, and I'm not like mad at the guy because it's his dream job too. You know, like this is an incredible restaurant with an incredible runway to accomplish whatever you can accomplish. It's like an empty canvas, no pun intended with the MoMA thing. But you're associated with like one of the most coveted museums on the planet. Like you've got all the resources in the world with USHG. Everybody wants you to succeed. It's one of the few restaurants these days that fine dining still is fine dining and thriving and growing and desired and wanted and needed. So it's like, yeah, man, this is like a dream. So how do I like navigate my own personal growth and like, you know, because yeah, you do want to be executive chef, and like nowadays, like everybody wants to be the chef younger and younger and younger. So I started as 25, and I just put my head down and went, and I treated that restaurant and that kitchen like it was my own. And I watched it go through like so many evolutions and changes. And, you know, it came to a point where I was like, hey, you know, it's either going to happen or it's not. And I had to have a candid conversation with Abram, and I said, you know, I'm going to leave to pursue my dream because I know that this ceiling it exists. And so I left for, and not many people know this, but I left for like a couple of months. Wow. Because a project came my way where I was like, you know,
I need to take this.
I'll take this. And very quickly into the project, I was like, this isn't real. You know?
What do you mean?
It just wasn't going to turn out the way I knew it would turn out.
Okay.
So I swallowed a huge bitter pill and said, hey,
take me back,
you know? And he's like, sure, come back. So I did. And at that point, it kind of worked out for the both of us because he grew into more of a director of operations role, which was growth for him, which is great. And, you know, he needed that. And I needed the restaurant because I like, you know, like you said, you're growing something. This is like chapter 3 at this point. By the time we're into chapter 6, I'm like, okay, now I'm actually doing the job. You know, we're deep into the storyline here. I'm doing the job. I'm developing the team. I don't even show you food anymore. You know, you're operating a restaurant at a high level. You're looking to operate different restaurants across New York City. Now it needs to be a title change or I have to go again. Okay. And that conversation never happened. But it was in my mind where I was like, okay, I have to do it soon. Oh, and then I took a week off for my birthday.
A week?
No, sorry. I took a weekend off for my birthday, and I came in. We went ice skating we have tons of vacation as chefs. I took a weekend off, and I went to Central Park, and we went ice skating in January. It was freezing cold. And came in for the restaurant, sat at the bar, and then one of my sous chefs comes out, and he's like, "Hey, Abram's leaving," and I'm like, "How the fuck do you know that?" I'm like, "What?" And then he's like, "You just told me he's leaving," and then like I was like, "Why didn't you tell me first?" You know, doesn't matter. Next day, he calls me. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna leave the Modern and go work back at the Nomad as a vice president of culinary, and I'm gonna recommend you for executive chef." And I was like, "Sweet, thank you." I didn't say thank you. I said congratulations.
And he's like, "Get the fuck out."
And I'm like, now it's maybe real, right? And this was, wrap your head around this. This conversation happened in January of 2020. So 3 months later, everything closes.
Oh my gosh, COVID. I didn't even clock that. 19 into 20.
I would say less than 3 months. Like he was like made executive chef and
announced,
and then the restaurant closed.
How long were you?
And he looked at me and he's like, it's not supposed to be. It was never meant to be.
The universe doesn't want me to have this job.
Okay, COVID happens. Fast forward to
right?
you come back and now you have your dream job. You are the executive chef at the Modern, and you have been the executive chef at the Modern. and you have manifested your life, and you have the position that you've always ever wanted. What does that feel like?
It's obviously surreal. I'm very grateful for all the things in my life. By no means is any of it easy.
No.
You know, like even just getting to that point where I was given the title of executive chef. We closed down. We were the first to go, and all the restaurants followed, and we all know the story that happens after that.
Mm-hmm.
The company held on to us. The company held on to the chefs and GMs for as long as they could. I helped Mike Anthony do takeaways at a GT, so I'm on the grill grilling burgers and lobsters. I helped Lena Chardulia open outdoor dining on the streets of New York when that first came about.
Mm-hmm.
Anything I could to just stay in the company, to stay associated, to hopefully get it back. So, and then we have to deal with our partnership too. So just because the city of New York said you can activate outdoor dining and do takeaways didn't mean that the MoMA was ready for that yet.
I got you. You're
So
attached to the museum.
Exactly. So the MoMA is like, we have the F&B contract in the museum. They're essentially our landlord. And it's an amazing relationship, and we benefit from each other. But if they're like, we don't want a restaurant yet, we can't say too bad.
Can't have a restaurant.
We can't have a restaurant. And it got so far to the point where we were thinking to ourselves, is it ever going to happen again? We weren't given the green light to open up for almost 18 months after the pandemic started, which was crazy.
Most all restaurants were back open.
Oh, they were back. They closed. They were back. They were closed.
They were pivoting. They would do whatever they needed to.
Everybody was getting back open, and it was still just a no.
Yeah, I'm packing meals for Thanksgiving holidays at USC and whatever I can do, smile on my face. And to be honest, a lot of people in our company know this about me, but that time where I was like wearing a black t-shirt in other people's restaurants really kind of helped me define the restaurant when I reopened it. So I was finally given the go ahead. They were like, open the Modern. And I'm like, okay, that's a lot. They're like, okay, open the barroom. Let's open one step at a time.
Yeah.
Let's do dinners only Monday or 5 nights a week. I'm like, sweet, no lunch. This is amazing.
A double, really. The doubles get you.
We had about 6 people on the team in the kitchen of a kitchen now who has that operates at around between prep cooks, pastry, savory, butchers, prep pasta cooks, about 50. So we had about 6, two chefs, me and my new chef de cuisine, and we opened up the restaurant. And
Did people come back quickly as soon as you guys reopened?
It's crazy.
Okay.
It was amazing.
They were itching to get back.
It was it. Yeah. I mean, what people don't realize about the Modern is that it's a neighborhood restaurant. It's not a neighborhood that I had to live in, that I can afford to live in, but
Same.
it's a neighborhood, where it is, we've got residents down the street. We have people that have been coming there for years, people that generational regulars.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important to the restaurant. It's not about just this destination fine dining, one meal a year thing. It's no, we rely on people coming back to us. We have MoMA museum membership regulars, people who dine once a week.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
That's a goal.
It's amazing, and we want to hold on to those people. We want to give them a reason to come back. So it was great. It was like this renaissance, oh man, we're back. And we were fired up, and we took the opportunity to say, wait a minute. Okay, we're open. What does that mean? Let's just open the doors and keep going. Let's take a moment to really think about who we are and what we're going to do differently, if anything, what we should do, going forward. Because the world changed. We may not have realized it right then and there, but it did. And we wanted to make sure we did it the right way.
Sure.
Because not everybody got an 18-month sabbatical from their restaurant. Yeah.
Most did not. Just out of curiosity, so you've been with Danny Meyer for 12 years.
15.
15 years.
Yeah, almost 16.
Oh my gosh. You are going on 8. What has...
If you added the EMP times.
EMP, that's right.
I guess it would be 12.
12.
Because it was under Danny Meyer at that point in time.
What has your relationship with Danny been in the course of that amount of time, and what is it now for both of you?
For me, when I worked at EMP, they always had like the orientation where you're brought in and, you kind of learn everything about the restaurant. And I'll kind of never forget, like, he would meet you and then see you again in like a different environment or whatever. And he would remember your name,
Wow.
which always just resonated with me because I'm like, how many restaurants do you have? How many employees do you have? And you remember my name. Like I'm a food runner or I don't know. It's just, he cared. Like he was present and he was at those orientations and he was like, I was like, how can you be at this many places at one time and like actually remember these things? And he really made an effort to come in and like make eye contact with you and shake your hand and
So
thank
impressive.
you for like whatever you were doing in the restaurant. And I don't know, like just stemming back to his book and his philosophy of hospitality, like every single person that works in those companies like carries that forward.
That's so beautiful.
Even to this day with Shake Shack, like, and I'm sure like across, I don't know, it just, because he speaks it and believes it and it just makes its way into every single person that works for him. And I don't know, even now when he walks in, like he'll come right up to me and shake my hand and we'll have a quick conversation. And I don't know, he just makes you feel very valued and deeply cares for the people that work for him.
People have asked me like, why'd you stay at the Monitor? Why are you staying at the Monitor for so long? Or just with USHG in general. And I kind of give them the same response in a different way every time. But it's also advice. Like just surround yourself with good people. Like that for me has been like a North Star because restaurant industry is hard.
It's brutal.
It's hard and it's nasty. And it's, when you find somebody like that just sticks out in all the right ways,
You stick with it.
you stick with it, man. Like I've heard horror stories from friends, from coworkers that go to restaurants and their paychecks bounce and people stealing money. Owners are taking money out of the restaurant, taking wine. I mean, whatever, it can go on forever, but like what he really embodies and what the company really stands for is something that just stands out in the brightest of ways. And the leaders of the restaurant reflect that daily, or at least try to. Obviously there's not a second Danny Meyer,
No.
but there are a lot of people who really believe.
But Danny Meyer's choosing his high-level teammates,
Sure. And I don't take that lightly by any means. But to answer your question, like, where are we now? Like, he'll text me, which is pretty sweet. Like,
I thought you were going to say, like, yeah, we hang out. Fridays.
I mean, somewhat.
yeah,
You travel together.
we're gonna travel together soon. We're going to,
You've done trips before.
to have the confidence from someone like that to run their business with all the things that he stands for and all the right ways, like, just to give everybody the chance to succeed is a huge responsibility, and something that I'll never take for granted.
Well, the little that I saw in your restaurant, in your kitchen, from getting was it Oi Chef? Wee Chef?
Yeah, the wish.
They must have screamed that at me at least 3 times. I was so uncomfortably impressed. Like, it was military meets family meets, like, you're just in this together. And it was such a beautiful, structured kitchen, but with so much love. So you're doing it. You're doing it so well, too.
Thanks. We like to
And
say
your food was okay.
food
Like,
is, food is fine.
food was outstanding. I had your steak tartare for dessert.
It's my favorite dish, and it's my favorite dish because of where we lived in Paris. Just to backtrack a bit, we lived in the 6th, and right outside the front door of our building, 1 or 2 doors over was a little boucherie, or a little butcher-run bistro, and they would do this hand-chopped steak tartare, ice cold, dressed with all the stuff, and they would serve it with big hand-cut steak fries. And I was like, man, this is gonna come back to me in some way, And it's the only dish in the modern barroom since day one that I've never changed.
Don't
Don't plan on it.
Don't change it.
Never once. It's been
Those
the same
fries
since
also,
day
I
one.
took them home.
I also gave it to Danny for like my tasting. Like I had the job already, but when we reopened from COVID, he came into the bar room and was like, "Hey, what's the menu going to be when we reopen this thing?" And so I gave him like 4 or 5 dishes in like a, like I wasn't like applying for the job again because I don't think I was going to be removed, but he wanted to see what we're going to serve our guests. And like to answer your question, I didn't want it to be just like dust off the old menu from when we closed. Like I wanted it to feel new. And I wanted to be me. Like I said, this is my real first go at being the executive chef, because that didn't count.
Sure.
The 2.5, 3 months before
You were
we
just
closed.
dipping your toe in.
Yeah, I was just like reacclimating. But I was like, that dish was on the tasting for Danny.
What was his reaction?
Oh, it blew his mind. He said that, how did you get the potato to feel like mashed potatoes inside the fried part? And I was like, I don't know. It was probably an accident, but we figured it out.
It was no accident.
That for me is, I mean, we come in for dinner and that's what we ordered. So
My next question was more for you, but if you were going to the Modern and sitting, what's your order?
This is a bit of a boring answer, but
No boring answer.
The eggs on eggs, like his signature dish. If I can have that every single time, that's really all I need. Like,
Okay.
and Margot's favorite dish is
she's a big she likes caviar.
I love
She's a
caviar.
caviar lover.
But this dish is, I don't know, you've been doing it since the beginning,
Well, it's been iterations and stuff, but like the version we serve now, we've been doing since pretty much the reopening.
Yeah, it's like this brioche stick, and it has the egg sauce, and you dip it, and it's got the caviar, and
It's what you want.
it's so good. It's really good. You just can't have enough of it.
And
I can.
And I don't come in that often, I really don't. So when I
We
do,
taste it twice a day,
I'm
every
like,
day.
I would like that again, please.
Okay, cool. No,
How often are you bringing Margot to both Shake Shacks and the Modern?
Margot was at the Modern for New Year's Eve for the second year in a
Look
row.
around. She's
She
gonna be
was.
the coolest kid.
And
Yeah.
well, just so you know, plug the Modern New Year's Eve party. We do a live band and we throw like this. It kind of organically turns into this sick little party in Midtown that isn't advertised anywhere.
Well, now it's
So you can sit at
advertised.
You
I
can
think it's
sit at
the
the
biggest
bar.
secret,
Yeah.
honestly, for like New Year's Eve. Everybody's looking for something to do. Everything's overwhelming. Everything costs a lot. It's busy. It's crowded. But like the Modern is just this tucked away
No cover charge.
little party with live music, good food, and it's the best
And
time.
we dance until midnight.
Yeah,
Amazing. You might see us all
You should come.
in 2027.
it's
Or
like this nice little
2026 into
secret.
2027.
It's like, let's just go do that. Like,
You
it
don't need to
doesn't
buy the
have-
whole
yeah.
big menu either. You can just come sit at the bar and have snacks and
That's the
enjoy
way to do
Yeah,
it.
that's the way to do it.
Okay, and she was there.
She was there, and they hire the same band every single year. So Margot was there last year too, and she's
This
just
kid
out
lives
on
the
the
good
she's
life.
out on the dance floor, and it's the best, and that's what we do. For New
Do
Year's
you
Eve.
think because of both of your careers, she's heavily influenced by food? Do you think she could possibly turn into, say, a chef or somebody in hospitality, or would you prefer she veers away from it? You're like,
I think we
"Ah."
might have two very different answers, and I'm curious.
I wanna hear
You go
both.
first.
I want her. I'll be generic and tell you that I want her to do whatever makes her happy. Blah blah
Of course.
blah. She has a sophisticated palate. She's still a kid. She likes the kid stuff.
Sure.
But she likes her salmon medium rare with crispy skin, and she puts caviar on her hot dog. And
Well,
yeah.
most kids probably aren't doing that.
Her favorite dish is sushi. She likes
loves sushi.
salmon avocado rolls. If she
Yeah.
could eat that every single night, I'm like, we can only do this once a week. Like,
Yeah.
we're not eating sushi every
Puts
single
down
night.
12 pieces at a time.
But it is a once a week thing. Like, and she would have it for every meal if she could.
Okay.
I don't know about, I think from just what you do and just from growing up in like New York City, and this kid has like confidence. Like, she's 8 years old and she is in a band at School of Rock, and she plays electric guitar, and she has a show at the end of the month at a venue in Brooklyn.
On 3rd Avenue.
And I'm like, I don't know. These kids are like afforded these opportunities growing up. And like, she frequently goes to the MoMA and is just
She's
cultured and but the confidence. Like, this kid is scared of nothing. Like, she'll go on
That's
stage.
almost scary.
She'll go out on the dance floor. Like, I'm so impressed with like the little person she's growing into be. And I don't know if I wouldn't like take credit solely for us. I think it's like her environment and just like everything she's exposed to. But it's, I don't know, like I'm just in awe of her all the time and the things she's doing at 8 years old. Like,
And will
Get
she be
ready.
Will she be I'm not
Yeah,
ready
this
for
is-
that. Will she turn food, or you think she'll have her own path?
I don't think she'll turn food.
Okay.
I don't know.
She'll always appreciate
I always
food.
feel like people, and you guys can chime in here with your opinions too, but I always feel like people kind of don't
Follow.
their parents. Yeah. I mean, not by choice. Like my mom's a nurse, my dad's a teacher. It's not like I was like, I cannot be those things. I just didn't really have an
wasn't your
interest. It wasn't my path. Yeah. So
Do you think, last question, more out of my own personal curiosity, raising a kid in the city, good choice?
yeah, to each their own. We talk about it a lot. Like we don't have a camp. We use the word camp. Like we don't have like mom and dad down the street.
Yeah.
And if you have that, God bless you. Use it.
The grass is not always greener.
yeah, his family's in Texas and England, mine's in Maryland.
Yeah.
We are the only
That's-
two people here.
That's far.
But we build our resources.
Sure. Of
course.
She has after school programs. She has an amazing babysitter. She's a busy kid, and I never envisioned like raising a child in New York City, but I also never envisioned not doing it. It's just
Yeah.
like here we are. We've ended up here, and I think
8 years in.
These are our careers. There's no intention on leaving.
But I do think like I just enjoy seeing like the things she gains from it. And I mean, obviously there's going to be like pluses and minuses to everything.
Of course.
But I think she has a lot of really cool opportunities, and I just try to foster and like push it in that direction.
Yeah, she's gonna learn how to use a subway by the time she's 10.
And a mandolin.
And a mandolin. Yeah. So this Father's Day, this is how it kind of ties into the modern. So this Father's Day, she gave me a present, and I unwrapped it, and it was a picture that she drew for me, which is pretty normal.
It's outstanding for me.
Father's Day.
She drew from somebody's Instagram post the hero shot of eggs on eggs on eggs, which is the signature dish at my restaurant. And it's fucking incredible. Excuse my language. So
Curse all you want.
I didn't know what to do with it because I wanted to like display it, but I just didn't want to add it to the eclectic
No, that needs to be
collection at the
framed.
house. So I framed it, a little Amazon frame, and I brought it to work, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put it in my office, right? And then I was like, you know what? This doesn't belong in my office. So I took it to the kitchen table in the kitchen of the
Oh.
Modern.
Where you're looking at the kitchen.
Exactly.
The one
We
table.
booked that reservation twice a day, once for lunch, once for dinner, and you enjoy the entire experience in the kitchen, And there's a little spot on the right side of this little partition wall, and I put it up right there, framed. And then I went into the museum immediately after, and I like took a little snapshot of the random
Like little plaque.
placard that they have on all the pieces. It's all the same. And I copied it exactly with the font on Microsoft Word, and I've laminated it, and I put it right below the picture. And I said, now your art hangs up in MoMA.
This is amazing.
And I'm not sure that I'm allowed to do that.
Probably
Don't
not.
ask questions.
Probably not.
Don't ask questions we don't want answers
And every
to.
time, I mean, it's almost like 9 times out of 10 when people come and eat at the restaurant, you get that dish, people lose their mind over like, oh my God, that's the dish we're eating. And then,
And then it fosters a conversation.
and they have no idea that an 8-year-old drew it until they ask. And I'm like, yeah, it's my daughter. Or the captain will tell them. I always joke that it's for sale, 40,000, whatever, pay for some college.
I think higher.
I'm not super attached to
Start
it.
at 60. Are there any personal goals for the two of you or as a family unit that you guys are working towards? Oh,
To see each other more?
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, our weeks are whirlwinds. Like we'll go. So there's weeks we'll go the whole week without seeing each other and just have 3-minute conversations here
Do you
and there.
catch up on like a Sunday of like, how was your week?
Well, we talk to each other every day, no matter
Of
what.
course,
We have standing calls, and I never go into service without talking to her on the phone and seeing Margot or FaceTiming Margot, whatever it is. We work in 2 super high demanding jobs, And unfortunately, they're on the opposite work schedule, more or less.
Day and night.
And for me, the environment that I work at, requires a lot of hands-on. And since coming back from COVID, like there's not a lot of senior leadership under me. There's a lot of energetic, ambitious junior leadership. But if the restaurant I believe that if the restaurant wants to continue to grow in the way that it's growing in that trajectory of up and up and up, it needs a lot of what I have to offer.
Yeah.
But as soon as I have the opportunity to get out, maybe come home early, we take that opportunity. I don't want to be at the restaurants midnight every night. I want to be able to have exactly, yeah. But Sundays, I always have Sundays off. Typically now I always have Saturdays off, and Margaret's been on Saturdays.
We're getting there.
Yeah, but she also has a demanding career too, and
Totally.
when she's in the city, in the midweek, I don't want to say that you have to come home every day at 4:00. So a lot of times I would take a day off in the middle of the week so I can get Margaret from school and give her the chance of okay, we got a 6:00 meeting on the calendar. I don't have to dip out for it. I want her to be able to be yeah, of course I can contribute to this.
Yeah, our lives are very busy, and we have a kid, and I somehow got roped into I'm part of the PTA, and I lead our Girl Scout troop, and there's just all these extracurriculars, and you get sucked in.
I feel like you chose that.
These things they bubble up, but I think we've both consciously are how can we find ways, knowing that we have our routines, we have our resources, where can we start to find more opportunities to just have time together as a family
Today. As soon as you leave.
We're going on a cruise on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Soon.
Her school's closed, midwinter break, public schools are closed for a week, and you can either figure out childcare and juggle work and all those things, or you can just be we're also gonna be off while school's closed and go do something. So we're really looking forward to that.
Yes, we are.
Amazing.
Going to the Bahamas.
Good for you guys. It's always sunny.
Better be.
It's legitimately always sunny. My last question, I want to end on more of we're kind of on a sweet little note with the two of you, but what is something career-driven that inspires you that he does, and what inspires you that she does?
You go first. I'm dying to know.
Oh my goodness. I would say when people ask how is it being married to a chef? I know the sacrifices he works a lot, a lot. And I know that he does it because it comes from a place of joy and because he loves doing it. And I worked in restaurants for so long, even before EMP and the 4 years that I worked with him, I've worked in restaurants for a long time. So it's not this was a new thing that I had to understand when we started dating or when we got married. So I think I'm just continually impressed, especially the older we get, how he can still just dedicate. He's just as steadfast and energetic and excited about it than he was, 14 years ago when we started working together. And I'm tired. I go home from work and I'm I don't know how you're going to do this till midnight. You're going to get tired eventually, but he's not. And I think it's because he genuinely enjoys what he does. And I think to add to that, just over the years I think you're a really big mentor. I think the people in his kitchens work for him because he's not this monster chef who's running around yelling at people. He takes time to really grow them and make this really awesome environment to grow their skills. And yes, it's a hard job and it's not easy and there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of expectations, but they have this leader who is fun to work for and that they're going to grow themselves in. And so I think that's what I would say I'm inspired by.
Thank you.
It was perfect.
She's go to the doctor more. And I'm I don't have time.
There's a lot of other things.
No one goes to the doctor, don't worry.
I'm truly inspired by your organization and your ability to take on tasks that I think I wouldn't have time for, but above and beyond your kindness and the way you treat people. It's very unique. And sometimes with the stories that she tells me about her work, I probably wouldn't lead with kindness. Most likely. I'm like, just go in there and do this. And she's like, that's how chefs talk to people. You can't, that's not going to work for
You
me.
need to hug them.
Yeah, I do involve myself in too many things, but I like to be involved. I like to like, you know, have a pulse on like Margot's community and provide things for her. And I mean, yeah, maybe next year a goal is to like pull back from a lot of those things because they are volunteer, but you get a lot out of it, you know.
It brings you
That's why I
joy.
do it.
You're
Yeah.
also clearly a super mom, so why quit?
She is a super mom.
You're super dad too.
I try to be.
You are.
Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on to our final
I'm
piece.
Mad Bud Light. So.
Do we need another
No,
one?
okay.
This is the rapid
ahead.
fire. You don't need to be, it's whatever comes to your brain. Some of them are for both of you, some of them are for each other. Who orders at a restaurant?
Rapid fire?
Mhm.
Both of us.
No, it's split
Yeah.
decision.
Tag team.
Yeah.
We're not, I want my own dish. Like I'm not
That
a
was
big,
my next
yeah,
question.
I'm
Is
not-
it
I'm
a
not-
share or
I'm not a big
Nah.
share. Like if we're going out to eat, I want to enjoy my
There's
dish.
nothing she hates more than going to dinner with like 6 people.
and you have to share everything?
And she's like,
And
"Oh,
they're-
let's just share stuff. And she's like, but I want that dish. And I don't want anybody else to have it except for me. Or if you want one, order your own, whatever, you know, like.
If there's like 20 dishes on the table and you get just like little pieces,
Nibbles.
I'm like,
Ugh.
no, I just really want this, like for me. But
Okay, well, you answered the second question without me even having to ask it. Who's more competitive?
Me.
If you had to swap jobs for a day, who would survive better?
I would probably be fired by like day 3.
I don't know. I couldn't like. I remember the days at Le Maurice where you like would take apart a whole fish, and he asked me one day. He's like, "What would you do?" And I'm like, "I would take the entire fish and put it in the oven, and
Cooks
that's
it.
it." So I
Cook of the
definitely,
fish.
I think I would struggle more in his environment.
All right. Favorite Cafe Pana flavor?
The stracciatella.
Oh, that's delicious.
I was gonna say the same thing.
You can have the same answer.
Definitely the
toppings?
stracciatella.
No.
Anything from Cafe Pana, but I
Is
would
really
also
the
say-
right
yeah.
answer. Okay. Who's a better cook at home?
She's a great cook.
I believe it.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know if I'd say better. I would just say I
More
cook
frequent.
She cooks more frequently.
4 to 5 nights at home, and he cooks like 1 night at home. So I'm the home cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Balances out. Warm tea or a glass of wine at the end of a long day?
So we religiously start our day with tea,
Okay.
and then I typically end my day with wine. So both.
Checks out.
Yeah, I'd say both.
Yeah.
Okay. If your home kitchen had a theme song, what would it be?
What's yours? Because we're not allowed to cook at the same time together. Just
I
doesn't
feel
work.
like that's smart.
No, if I have something I want to make, like I really just need him to go watch TV
Elsewhere.
or something because he's just like he's interested. He's like, "What are you doing next?" Or like, and he really wants to help, and
But it's not helpful.
organically over time he'll just be doing it, and I'm like, "All right, I'll just go over here." Like,
Do you
Or-
want to cook?
this was my intention, but you can have it.
Or if I cook, I like to use all the dishes that I have, my
What
resources.
is with you and men as a whole? I'm sorry, they use everything.
Yeah, but I can get it done in like 15 minutes.
You probably
I-
know how to use them at least.
I'm a fan of like the one pot meal,
yeah.
like nothing better.
You're cooking for a
He
family.
cooks something every single pan, pot, utensil, all of it has been used.
That's
It's
why
a delicious meal,
That's why you have it.
but
You're
it
not-
took a
you're not
lot
wrong.
to get there. I don't know. It's tough for me. I always go to like Queen and like Don't Stop Me Now or just like something really upbeat and
Typically,
fun.
when I'm at home cooking, she's not there. Like if it's like a day off, I'm home and she's at work, or I'm like meal prepping something for her, I'm like playing like obscure punk rock that no one likes, you know. Just
I would imagine
or
people
like,
it.
yeah, that no one in the family would probably be interested in. I'd say that.
I usually play Queen because Margot likes Queen too, so I'll just like pop it on.
Okay.
And she'll come in and like sing the songs.
Just
while I'm
play it at the
cooking.
same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what happens. Okay, this is a question for you about Tom. What is a dish he's most proud of that maybe no one outside of his kitchen knows about?
That he makes at home, or
However you want to interpret. It could be a perfect boiled egg. Keeping on our egg journey today.
I think like a natural go-to when he's gonna make dinner and doesn't know what to make is bolognese. It's so simple but so delicious, and I get really excited when he's gonna make it. And I ask him to make a lot extra, so I have like leftovers through the
I
week.
thought you were going to say lasagna.
Bolognese. Well, lasagna is that's a good call. I'd say both. And I think there's a lot of moments where like we've made lasagna together. If like someone just had a baby, or like someone's
Send a
Send
tray.
lasagna.
just
Yeah.
had surgery,
Yeah,
or like
5x9.
something's happened,
That'll
and
be
we're
my
like,
birthday
how do we
soon.
help them? Like we'll go make them lasagna, and we'll do it together, and we'll give them a lasagna pan, and I'll drive it over, and like I don't know, there's something about like that homemade, like saucy, like like that you can just eat through the week that makes it so easy.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would say lasagna too. But bolognese is just a super simple dish that I think he loves to make, and I get really excited when he makes it.
And a one-pot wonder. You don't need every dish.
What's your favorite dish that I make? I love hearing this answer.
Well, you already know it.
I know.
So she makes, we call it cheesy mac, but it's essentially her version of cheeseburger helper
Okay.
without using the box or anything like that. It's like the
Like
exact same.
a good hamburger.
Oh, it's all
Yeah.
made from scratch.
Yeah, like
it's
beef bone broth and
so
like
good.
tomato paste.
Like the noodles are
and-
cooked in the broth.
But it's cheeseburger helper, and it's always so funny because as a chef, people are like, "What's your favorite dish your wife makes?" He's like, "Cheeseburger helper."
And she,
cozy.
Like, but I make it from scratch.
she thinks I'm being like condescending. I'm like, no, actually, it's real. Like, it's my favorite
And,
dish.
and when I
Keeps good in the
when
fridge.
we meal
Yeah.
plan, I'm like, "What do you want this week?" And he's like, "Cheeseburger helper or cheesy mac." I'm like, "Okay, I'll make it again." Like, but
It's never enough.
yeah.
I eat most of my meals cold out of the fridge after work.
Honestly, same, and I'm not
So
proud of
good,
it.
so good.
My coffee's cold. My tea is never hot.
The bagel's
At
cold
least a
with
glass of
ketchup
wine is
cold.
like a neutral. But yeah, everything is a bit chilled.
Yeah. I don't
Well-
plan to microwave it.
I don't even own a microwave.
Good for you.
Purposely. Guys, thank you so much. This
You're
was
welcome.
an amazing first duo. I got a kiss. We got a cheers. We ate seafood and eggs together, which I think the whole team is still very confused by. And it was just a pleasure getting to know you both.
Thank you for having us. This is a blast.
Thank you so much. This
You're
is
welcome.
an amazing conversation.
Thank you. It was you. You're just talking about your
And
journey
thank
of
you
life.
again for lunch. What a killer. That was amazing.
Let's bring out the seafood.
Yeah.
It has the perfect amount of sit time.
I'm gonna have one more wing, by the way.
Please. Well, thank you again for being on Campers.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
This has been lovely.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to Campers wherever you listen to podcasts and leave a review. I'll catch you next time.